Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here, Raiders versus the world, and the Raiders can beat the Kansas City Chiefs this week, and here's how. All right, we all know it's going to be a tough game, right? Kansas City's running into form. They scored like over 30 points average the last three games. They just beat the Lions. They're on a hot streak. They got Rashee Rice back. They got a lot of weapons all over the place. How is it going to happen? Well, I'll tell you. There's a specific reason why Kansas City is getting better, a specific reason why what they're doing is working, and a specific reason why what they're doing is going to be difficult for this specific Raiders defense. There's a few things, if we look a little bit deeper into the numbers, on how the Raiders can make this happen. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be very difficult, right? Because the offense still has to score points. But there is a clear path to the Raiders holding the Chiefs to under 25 points. All right, big thing in our favor is run stuffing. On first and second down, we stuff the run, which means no gain or negative gain on a running play on first and second down 42% of the time. That's like insanely good. So almost half the time when team runs on first and second down, they get no gain or they get negative yardage. That's one of the reasons why we're one of the best teams in the league against the run. We've only allowed 3.8 yards per carry on the season. This is going to be huge for us, okay? Because as crazy as it sounds, we need to get the Chiefs in obvious passing downs. Now, here's the issue with that. The issue is Andy Reid knows this and probably not going to run a lot on first and second down. He's going to use a lot of things that's going to make it difficult for us to key in and load to the box on the run on early downs. One of those things is motion, because this is where the issue comes in with the Chiefs and how diverse they are on offense. The Chiefs do extremely well when using motion. Their success rate of a play when using motion is over 60%. That's massive. What they do with motion is they not only put players in more advantageous positions, they figure out what the defense is going to do, because this team has been together so long and because, Mahomes has seen it all. Well, not that Mahomes. And not that Mahomes, this Mahomes. They've seen it all, okay? So they know what's going to happen, or they have a good idea. That's why we need to be a little bit tricky, okay? Now, look, the main issue that we look at, and this is the tippy top, right? Before you get to all the granular numbers. The Chiefs score on 51% of their drives. That's crazy. They almost half the time they have the ball, they score points. And most of the time it's touchdowns. So we have to figure out a way to stop those drives and get them off the field. A big way to do that, like I said, is stuffing those runs on first and second down. The Chiefs aren't like amazing at running the ball, but they're pretty good. They're about 120 yards a game rushing, so they do it a lot, and they mix it in quite a bit. Now, a lot of times they're ahead and they run the ball a lot to do that, but they mix it in even if they're behind. We got to make sure to not fall for the whole window dressing thing and keep on our P's and Q's when it goes against the run. This is all funneling us into third downs. If we're able to do that, if we're able to continue with this run stuffing at least half the time at 0 or negative yardage, we're going to be good. Longer third downs is going to be better, because third down conversion rate is going to be huge in this game. Now, I know a lot of, oh, yeah, of course it's going to be huge. No. This is how Kansas City makes its money. Kansas City makes its money by sustaining drives. They sustain drives better than anyone else in the league. They're not this quick hit offense anymore where they're going to beat you deep left and right. They do have some of that ability, but they use their speed more so horizontally to stretch you out and get big chunk yardage that way. It's going to be hard, but I think because of the fact that we're so good against the run in early downs, we force longer third downs. And that plays into the second part of this scenario. There's a little known stat I dug up. I was doing some research because I love stats, but I love stats more that lead to bigger stats. One of the stats that I really like is pressure isolation rate. What does that mean? That means when your edge rushers, like an outside linebacker or like a defensive end like Maxx Crosby, right? When they're isolated on an offensive lineman, how often do they win that matchup? How often does that win rate turn into pressures, and how often do those pressures turn into sacks? It's a big stat because it tells you how effective you are, not only in single rushing, but also how effective you are with your blitzes too. All right, so why is this a big deal? Okay, well, the Raiders on isolated pass rush win rate, they're like almost 30%. So basically, whenever they have a guy on single coverage on the outside, 1 out of every 3 snaps, they win that matchup and it goes to a pressure. Maxx Crosby is the leader on the team with 12 just in these situations. Now, very rarely does Maxx Crosby only get one guy blocking him. And it's smart because he has 12 of these wins on single blocking coverage. So he's a one-man wrecking crew. If you don't get 2-3 guys at him, he's going to beat the single guy in front of him the majority of the time. That's why we need other guys to step up. Now, if like Malcolm Kuntzes of the world and the Snowdens and the Butlers and the Laulus and all these guys aren't able to do it from the line, we have to blitz. We have to figure out ways to get Maxx in single blocking. We have to figure that out. If we do that, we're going to be able to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Now, this is where it becomes a little bit of a problem. These pressures don't really turn into sacks. We've already seen that about a third of the single blocking edge rushes turn into pressures, right? But the problem is only about 14% of those pressures for the Raiders turn into sacks. We're just not closing. We don't have those closers there. Maxx Crosby is a closer. That's really all it. The other guys are more of a pressure guys around you that the quarterback runs into another guy. Maxx Crosby really is the only guy on this team who can beat a guy, close, and take the quarterback down by himself. Really doesn't happen with any of the other guys. We got to get a guy to step up, man. It's crucial because pressures don't affect Patrick Mahomes, okay? Hurries don't affect Patrick Mahomes. Hits don't affect Patrick Mahomes. You have to grab him and get him on the ground. We need to have these guys to close. Now, the way teams have been kind of countering this win rate by the Raiders is they're doing a lot more quick passes. That's why I felt like the cover 3 that the Raiders have been running almost 50% of the time before last week was insane. You're basically giving the guys the throwing lanes, and you're giving the teams the easy completions. Look what happened with Daniel Jones and the Colts. He was pressured a lot, but guess what? He got the ball out really quick, and we were playing so far back, and a lot of times we missed the tackles, and these guys made all those long third down conversions into first downs. We can't do that with this because Daniel Jones is nothing compared to Patrick Mahomes as far as getting pressured and hurried and how good he is when he's facing pressure. Patrick Mahomes will carve you up the entire game. He doesn't care if you're in his face. He doesn't care if you're grabbing and holding on to him. If he finds a guy open, he's going to be able to hit him, regardless of where he is on the field. We have to make a couple of tweaks to what we already do well. Now, here's how the Chiefs are going to try to combat that. Like I said earlier, they're really good with motion, right? They love to use motion to not only get their guys in better positions, but they use motion really well to kind of give the tell of the defense. They find out what they're doing and they know how to attack it. These guys have seen everything, so they know how to attack every situation. Here's a couple numbers that are going to be a little bit scary, okay? I kind of alluded to one earlier. The Chiefs have a 62% success rate on plays where they use motion. That's crazy, man. That just shows you how much information they can get on moving specific people to different spots and exposing what a defense wants to do. On top of that, when Patrick Mahomes uses motion and throws the ball, he's got like 8 yards an attempt, man. This is crazy. This is nuts. And we have to combat a specific problem. This is how these two stats collide, okay? First off, we talked about stuffing the run and getting obvious passing downs. Okay, that's one thing, and I think we can do that. The problem is when you get to those passing downs, how is your strengths going to affect the strengths of the Chiefs? The problem is our nearly 30% win rate on single blocking isn't going to mean much because Patrick Mahomes, he kind of thrives on that chaos, right? He knows exactly where to go with the ball, and he loves to kind of like almost create the drama where like, oh, you almost got me, but here's the first down anyway. Now, I would expect Andy Reid to use a ton of motion, especially early in the game, to kind of feel out what the Raiders want to do. Now, here are those two things that I think the Raiders can do. The Raiders can bring pressure almost every single play, kind of like what the Eagles did, but bring them from different angles, different rushes, different blitzes. That can be good, especially if you can identify a weakness in the offensive line. It's not typical to have a guy have a terrible game 2, 3, 4 games in a row and be in the NFL. You might have a good matchup against a guy who just doesn't really block a specific thing that this player in front of him does really well. So once you identify that, you got to hit it over and over and over again while bringing pressure from different angles. The problem is we're not getting home quickly enough. So what do we do? This is why I think this is the best way to attack this Chiefs offense. We have to stack the line. It's going to do a couple things for us. If we stack the line, nice and packed in, right? Make it look like everyone's coming on every single play. We're not only going to be able to stop the run doing that, but we're going to disguise what we're going to do because we can't do the same things over and over again. We can't just sit back and cover 3 and let Patrick Mahomes carve us bing, bing, bang all the way down the field because he'll do it. He'll do what Geno Smith did to the Titans, but he's better in the red zone. That's the difference, right? So we got to make sure that we bring everyone up to the line of scrimmage, make it seem like an all-out blitz every single play, but drop people back. Drop people back into man, drop people back into zone. We have to switch it up because what we can't do is be predictable on defense. These are the numbers and how they play out. Let's do a quick recap, okay? Number 1, the Raiders are really good at stuffing the run in early downs. A run stuff is either a line of scrimmage stop or negative play on the run on first and second down, and the Raiders are really good at it. What that does is it forces the Chiefs into longer third downs. Problem is the Chiefs are pretty good in third down, and they use a lot of motion to be able to kind of figure out what the defense wants to do. The way to combat that and to use the Raiders' single blocking win rate on the outside is to stack the line, make everything look the same pre-snap, and change everything post-snap. You confuse Patrick Mahomes that way. You make him hold the ball a split second longer, and that split second is going to really raise up that 14% pressure to sack rate that the Raiders have this season. We have the guys to do it. Can they execute? That's going to be the big thing. The architect of making sure that the guys execute is Patrick Graham. Here's what Patrick Graham had to say in his press conference leading up to the game versus the Chiefs.
Morning.
Coach, last week you talked about turnovers. You were tired of talking about them. You wanted them to go out there and do it. They did it. Can you get them to do that more? Build on those good habits.
That's what they're always trying to do. The players, we got a good group of guys from the back end, the front, the guys inside, the middle. These guys they're doing a good job of doing everything we're asking them to do in terms of trying to improve what fundamentally, the schemes we implement. We got a great group of guys. So just, again, I'm not going to talk about it. We just got to keep going out there and doing. Like we got to do today, we got to go out there and practice today. We got to go out there and practice.
Eric told us in the locker room that they had a good Thursday last week, that it was a good turnover Thursday, and it translated into the game. Is that kind of what you're preaching as well?
I'm preaching improvement every day. Again, any defensive coach is going to say hunt the ball, but I'm not going to keep talking. I'm sorry. I'm not going to done talking about it. We just got to do. We got to do.
As a former defensive line coach, when you see a guy like Geno who kind of came here a little humbled, not making the team with the Colts, and keeping at it and working at it, how satisfying is that to see that progress, and how can you measure the progress from last year to now this year?
I couldn't be happier with where Jonah is right now. We had him in the pro day, the local pro day, him being a local guy. We were impressed with him then. The Colts drafted him. Then when they cut him, we got a chance to get him. He did on that pro day without pads on, obviously. He displayed the athleticism, the work ethic, everything that you want from a young defensive lineman. Good knee bend, played with his hands, had to clean up a few things, but it was a good project to want to work with. Then when he got here, he was quiet at first, but you could see all the flashes and just say, sometimes, like with Robbie and his group, just instilling some confidence in him to make sure he understands that, you could be a guy. You could be a guy. You have all the tools. And then, like I've always said, these young players, they got to make a decision because you really don't have anything else to do. It's not college. You don't have class. You don't have anything else to do. So you got to make a decision. How far do I want to take this professional football player thing? And you got to make a decision how much you're going to commit to it. Thankfully, he has the skill set, and he just works really, really hard, and he's not satisfied. So, it's one of those stories that you're like, we'll see where it goes from here, but you're very happy with the progress right now.
What makes Travis Kelce such a matchup problem for teams?
One, he's going to have a gold jacket, obviously. So savvy, and then with all the experience he has, he's seen all the different types of ways people try to cover him. You try to hit him with a defensive end. You try to pop out to him. You try to match a safety on him. You put a corner on him. He's seen everything. And then on top of that, the skill level. He's a skilled football player. Everyone wants to talk how smart and savvy he is, but he's skilled. This guy, he catches everything. He has good body control. He obviously has a great rapport with the quarterback. And then, he goes in there and he's willing to show the blocking and things of that nature. He's physical on the perimeter. I don't know how much. I've never coached I did coach tight ends at University of Richmond, but he's just got everything you're looking for. And he's a competitor. He's one of the fierce competitors in the league. So good player.
You have a versatile group of defensive ends. How does their versatility help you combat the mobility of Patrick Mahomes?
It's good to have speed on the field, definitely there. And then when guys have flexibility, whether they're dropping the coverage or rush or peel at the back or things of that nature, it allows for you to try to change it up for Mahomes. But again, now you're getting to the point where Mahomes, he's seen everything too. Plus, his skill set, he's a great football player, just good quarterback, very good quarterback, but he's a great football player. He's fun to watch out there on the field. So to combat it, you're trying to keep him contained and keep him from making the big plays, but it's hard. Everybody, all 31 other teams are trying to do that, so it's hard.
What did you say about Devin White highlights, but kind of, I guess, resurgence in that game against the Titans, what he did there, and just how much he's kind of refound his love of the game.
You know, you have to talk to him about the love of the game. I know he's a pleasure to be around. So, and that might speak to the love of the game there. But in terms of what he did in the game, he did everything we asked him to do. We asked him to press blocks. You know, those first 3 plays of the game were really impressive to me. You know, came downhill, pressed there was a pair over there, tight ends over there. He pressed that, allowed for us to make the tackle. The second play, I think he scraped over the top. And then the third play on the third down, he scraped over the top and got the TFL. So things that linebackers need to do, he was doing that. He was doing it fast and physical while listening to me in his ear with the green dot. So, I mean, it was impressive. But, you know, there's still room to grow. They'll all tell you that. But I was happy for him to have a good game last week. But he was already on to the next one that night. When I tried to text him and say, good game, he's like, on the next one, we got a lot to do. So.
The interior of the defensive line is always important, but Mahomes likes to escape up the gut a lot. So how much more emphasis will have to be on that position this week?
A lot. You know, it takes a full group, not even just the 11 on the field. It takes, you know, the guys on the sideline seeing what they're seeing when they sub in. But the interior part, any elite quarterback, they could care less about edge rush. You know, like if you I'm talking about poor edge rush when it's just running past them. They just step up in the pocket. I learned that quick when I transitioned from college to the pros, and you're watching Peyton Manning and Tom and those guys maneuver in the pocket. Any quarterback in this league, you got to affect them through the middle, and we got some guys that are stout in there for the run game. They have some quickness to be able to get on edges. We're just trying to get to that spot to make them uncomfortable. But that's most elite quarterbacks in the league. They're not looking to go out the back of the pocket. That's where the monsters are. I mean, I wouldn't go back there. If they're running 4.6s and they're 260 pounds and 6'5", I mean, you go back there if you want to. I mean, that's not – I'm sure the ownership doesn't want them doing that. All set? Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
This is wild. The odds makers are giving us no love. The Chiefs are a 12.5-point favorites with an over-under of 45.5. Very similar to last week. I think this is going to go under the 45.5, and the Raiders are going to cover. So this is my pick for you guys this week. Again, it's not a guarantee. Take it if you want. Don't take it if you don't. But if you do take it, make sure to do it on MyBookie. My link tree is in the description. It has all my socials on there. It has all the ways to connect with me, and also has all my sponsors. Just make sure to use the promo code SOTO. MyBookie is the best place to go and get a little action. It's the only place that I go. I also use it for casino games and a little fun here and there to pass the time. If you want a little action on your own, my recommendation is take the Raiders plus 12.5 and the under 45.5. I think it's going to be the best bet. Great stuff by Patrick Graham, and a couple of things that we talked about already. He talked about the versatility of his edge rushers, right? Edge rushers being also the outside linebackers as well. And it's good to be able to drop them back and change things up. And that's what we're going to have to do. The thing is, we're going to have to do it from the same set, from the same formation. We have to give them the same look every single time and switch out of it. We have to do a lot of things that are different. We can't just do the same thing over and over again. Patrick Graham said it himself. Not only is Patrick Mahomes a great quarterback, he's also a great football player. Like, he knows, he has a great mind for it. He's seen everything. If we're able to do that, we have to attack the middle as well. Maybe it's going to be stunts. Maybe it's going to be games. Maybe it's going to be blitzes up the middle. Who knows? But what we have to do is make sure to bring pressure from different angles. If we let Patrick Mahomes sit back there and even give him an easy rush, because look, with Patrick Mahomes, letting him scramble out through the front of the line and kind of get to the line of scrimmage, he doesn't always run through the line of scrimmage. He gets to the line of scrimmage, and then he kind of flattens out to buy more time. And he kind of leaves the linebackers and the secondary in kind of limbo. Like, what is he going to do? I can't attack him. He's going to throw over my head. And I can't sit back because he's going to run. It's a tough situation. So we got to make sure to keep him in the pocket. Also, keep him looking at the rush as much as we can. He's a professional. He's the best of the best out there as far as handling pressure. So we got to make sure we make it look everything the same. That's how any trick, any magician, any sleight of hand artist, any of that stuff, their big thing is making everything look the same while doing something different. And that's what we have to do defensively against Patrick Mahomes. We have the tools to do it. We have the players to do it. We also have the history and the stats to prove it. We can get it done. But we have to do something a little bit different in the secondary. I liked last week how we played a lot more cover two. We can do that. We can play a shell and man underneath. We can switch it up a little bit, but we have to make sure we do things different. We can't be doing the same thing over and over again. Teams are going to figure it out, and teams are going to make us pay. Now, the ultimate decision maker on what gets done is Pete Carroll. This is what Pete Carroll had to say, talking about injuries, talking about the Chiefs, and talking about the game coming up. Here's what he had to say.
Very well.
Hey Pete, we saw Jacoby and Brock Bowers back out there. I was wondering how are they feeling, and what's the likelihood of them playing on Sunday?
Yeah, well, both of them got work today. Jacoby got more than Brock did. He looks like he bounced back pretty well, so we're very hopeful that he'll be available. Brock got his first workout here in a while. His workouts have been great during the week. I watched him when he was working with the trainers, and he's really going good. So we're really close on him.
Talked about the improvement on special teams last week, or I'm pleased with where they were. Are you confident that's changes that are substantive going forward that you're confident in, or is that?
Well, getting a couple guys back in the right spots and all that definitely helped us. But we played really well, and we kicked the ball really well, and placed the ball well, and we executed a really good game plan last week. Let's come back and see how we do. This is a really good group we're going against. But we plan on going ahead and leaving all that stuff behind. And we're really excited about Johnny Radigan jumping in with these guys and helping out, and Kicks coming back, and and AJ's effort last week after spraining his ankle the week before was fantastic. So we're going in the right direction.
Would Bowers be considered questionable, or at this point?
I don't know that yet.
No.
I know the term rivalry is a relative term, but over your career, how have you treated rivalry games? Do you treat them the same as every other game, or is it do you treat it differently?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, we approach every week like it's a championship game, like it's the only game you got, and we don't rate them. We don't gauge them on who, where, or, and whether you're playing Monday night or Thursday night or Sunday afternoon. We don't gauge those things, and the reason is because we want to win every game we play. We want to play the best we can possibly play, no matter who we're playing, because we're practicing to do that. And that's why we'll give it everything we got in preparation, and in the walkthroughs and the work on the field and all of that, the planning, the game planning, everything. We're giving everything we got to every game, so we can't do any better than that. So it doesn't matter who we play or where we're playing them, and that's been an ongoing approach for a lot of years. And I've liked it. I think it balances out these kinds of situations and questions that you might ask, and these guys should think of it. This is the biggest game in the world. It's the only one we got. We may never get another one. You don't know. So that's how we've approached it.
Because you're preparing defensively for the Chiefs, Rashee Rice has not been there. How tough is it to kind of envision what he's going to look like in the context of the
that it's a good question, but it's not hard to imagine, because their guys are so fast and they're flying all over the place. He's just adding to it, and he's been a terrific performer in the past, but everybody can run, and everybody's got the kind of the makeup that you really have to be attentive to, and he just adds to it, makes them better. So it's just another really good guy.
Pete, regarding Jacoby, was this something that happened in practice that caused like the knee and toe injury, or just wear and tear?
Remember the catch he had last week?
Yeah,
it was when he kind of got folded up a little bit.
Okay.
Looking at the Chiefs from the tape at the beginning of the season to where they are now, what are they doing differently that maybe has them clicking a little bit more as they've moved?
I would bet their coaches just would tell you that they're just functioning better in all areas. They look really, really good, top to bottom, across the board. And there's such an experienced group, experienced staff, and leadership on the coaches, both coordinators and special teams, that they're just a really good club. And the fact that it wasn't right early, it's right now. That's all we're seeing. So they look like a terrific challenge for us.
Pete, the trade deadline is approaching. I was wondering, how does the outcomes of the next 2 weeks with Chiefs and Jaguars at the bye would kind of impact you guys' approach at the deadline?
I don't think we approach it any differently because of the schedule and all. We're competing to get as good as we can possibly get. So we're looking for all opportunities, and as we watch what's happening, it seems really quiet right now in conversations or whatever's going on. But we take each opportunity as the next comp that we got. So we're going after it. Johnny got his guys, scouring the league and seeing everybody's players and practice squads and all that kind of stuff. We're just trying to get better, so this doesn't change anything. I don't think the schedule will affect us. The bye coming up, it just gives us more time to work.
Good. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Thank you.
A lot of good stuff, man. Every week is a championship week because that's the only game we have. Truer words have never been spoken. You have to treat every week like it's a championship week. It's a little bit extra because it's the Chiefs. It's a little bit extra because it's at the Chiefs. It's a little bit extra because, honestly, this win can really tilt how this season goes. If we happen to not get the victory here, look for some players to get dealt. If we're able to pull this off, look for maybe some players to be coming in. I know that there's been rumblings about the Raiders looking for defensive line help, probably on the edge. Also looking for some help at corner. So a lot is riding on this game. The offense could be a little bit funky, okay? Are we going to have Brock Bowers? Probably not. Are we going to have Jacoby Myers? Maybe, maybe not. How are the young guys going to perform? How is Chip Kelly going to perform? How is Patrick Graham and the defense going to perform? Who's going to step up? The last time we beat the Chiefs, and whenever we hang with them, we have these unsung heroes step up and have big games. Who's it going to be for this Raiders defense? Let's take a recap of what we talked about and how it all fits together. The Raiders do a great job of run stuffing on first and second down. That's big because it allows for longer third down conversions. The problem with that is the Chiefs are great at converting third downs, which is evident in the fact that they score on more than half of their possessions. These guys could just get it done. They know how to prolong drives. They know how to kind of move the chains. We have to make it as difficult as possible by making these third downs very predictable. We do that by stuffing the run on first and second down. With those long third downs, we have to make sure to disguise our coverages and disguise our blitzes. We do have to blitz. We have to blitz heavy, and we have to blitz almost every time because we have to make sure to make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable, and we have to switch up what he sees pre-snap and what he sees post-snap. If we can do that, he can hang on to the ball a little bit longer because our defensive linemen do win their matchups. The problem is they don't get to the quarterback enough because the quarterback is allowed to throw the ball quickly because the coverages have been soft historically throughout this season. We have to live on that razor's edge. We have to trust that our defensive linemen are going to get home fast enough so Mahomes can't throw the ball deep and beat us over the top. We have to put pressure. We have to pressure not only the quarterback, we have to pressure the receivers as well. If we can do that, we can stifle this offense. We did it to Justin Herbert in the second half. I think we can do it to the Chiefs in this game. But we have to be multiple. We have to be versatile. We have to be creative. And we have to disguise what we're doing. If we can do that, we can stifle the Kansas City Chiefs on offense on a way to a Raiders victory. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. And it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing nothing, just watching the video. I do appreciate you watching the video, though. Also, we have the Shield Society. Shield Society, it's only $5, man. It's a membership. You get these videos right away. As soon as I upload them, you get them. On top of that, you get the watch party with me. You get to watch the games with me, hear my analysis, hear my takes, watch me cheer, watch me boo, all that stuff. And I give you the chance to be on the show yourself, on screen, giving your takes, giving your analysis, saying what's up to the boys. Who else is going to give that to you? It's a great deal, man. And also, I'm going to send out a couple of goodies. Probably in the middle of next week, I'm going to send out, I got a goodie package ready for every Shield Society member who's given me their information. If you're a Shield Society member and you haven't given me your info, your name and your mailing address, please do so. And I have something waiting for you in the mail within the next week or so. All right. I need you guys to do one thing for me, though. Tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going in Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.